What's up, folks? I am back with another team type battle. This time we've got 4 battles with my grass team. Like with the normal team, these first 2 are going to be against my college buddy, A Kamen Man. And first one's single, second one's double. He starts off with his hair cross.
It's a one-hit wonder!
Unfortunately, the fire typing also let me take it out with 1 hit. So then he sends in Palkia, which, great matchup against mine. Resists fire doubly, neutral with grass, but with the sunlight and the same type attack bonus, that solar beam was strong. Unfortunately, Power Gem takes advantage of the weakness to rock that fire has. So in here we have Salvia, my Venusaur, and I'm going to finish off this Palkia with a Solar Beam from that Venusaur. It is also holding a Miracle Seed, so some extra damage for grass. Now you probably noticed the freak out with the Solar Beam view there. I don't know what's wrong with this, why it did that, but you know, whatever, ask Game Freak. So here comes one that's going to be real hard for me to take out. His Skeledirge named Fue Gonzalez, and I love that name. So I switch into my Hisuian Decidueye, hoping that I can get off a Shadow Claw, and it was close. Almost took me out, but I had just enough bulk. Unfortunately, I did not have enough speed. Had I gotten that Shadow Claw off, I'm pretty confident I could have taken out that Skeledirge, but it managed to outspeed my Decidueye, so that was a waste of Pokemon. However, with the sun up, I can use Victory Bell's Chlorophyll to make sure I go first, put it to sleep, and then get some damage on it. So that's what I do. Now, with this Skeledirge asleep, that lets me swap out, go back into something that will work a little bit better here. In this case, my Executor, Alolan form, which you might have noticed the Cherish Ball. This is an event Pokemon. Doesn't really matter, but I think it's cool. So the Skeledirge stays asleep for that swap in. That's good. I got a free swap in. And then I hit it with a Psychic, and that's not enough to take it out, but I get a special defense drop, and it does get it just below half. Now he wakes up, which is not great, and uses that Torch Song, but thanks to Executor being part Dragon instead of Psychic, he manages to tank that because it's neutral damage. The second Psychic finishes off that Skeledirge. Honestly, the Dragon typing is part of why I like Alolan Executor, but I also just think it looks cool. Now, he sends in his Toxtricity, which takes out my Executor with a Poison Jab, but I need to explain this nickname. He named his Toxtricity Andrew Tate. Not because he likes Andrew Tate. We despise Andrew Tate. But because the Pokemon's name is Toxtricity.
God, it's a one-hit wonder!
It's a poison type, and Andrew Tate is the most toxic person he could think of. Now, unfortunately, it doesn't get much damage off with the Ice Spinner, and he manages to take out my Hisuian Lilligant in 1 hit. So, wash, rinse, repeat what I did last time. He sees what I'm doing, switches out, sends in his Yanmega, one of my favorite bug types. Now that lets me get the Sunlight set up, which gets the Chlorophyll speed boost, but I knew he was going to take me out this turn. So as sort of my parting gift, I use Sweet Scent, make sure whatever I use next is going to hit. I don't want any unlucky misses here costing me the battle. And then I send Venusalvia back in. It's also got Chlorophyll, so it'll get a speed boost from the sunlight, and it will not miss. But I wanted to make absolutely sure that I took this out, so I went ahead and did the Terra on it. With the grass, that will turn Solar Beam, which I can use in 1 turn thanks to the sun, into 240 power instead of 120, which, even with a resistance, is going to do some major, major damage. Plus, when you factor in the Miracle Seed, it's going to do even more damage. Gotta admit, I was a little disappointed with that, but, you know, then I remembered that that's doing 1/4 damage thanks to its double resistant. So, considering that, that was pretty decent damage. Then I just finish it off with a Sludge Bomb, which is neutral damage instead of 25% damage. So he sends Andrew Tate back out. I don't have anything especially effective here, but that Solar Beam is doing like 2.2 times damage, and he's asleep, so he can't retaliate and take me out. And that Solar Beam does manage to take him out, despite the resistance to grass. Sunlight's gone now. It's only got 8 turns. Now here, I'm an idiot. I didn't notice that it said the sunlight had gone out. I don't know what I was doing. I don't know what I was looking at. Maybe I was texting my girlfriend. Probably was texting my girlfriend. But I didn't see it said the harsh sunlight had faded. And I didn't notice the lack of sun rays. So my idiot self uses Solar Beam, thinking, easy one-hit kill here. It's super effective. Except I couldn't use that in 1 turn. Had I used Energy Ball, I probably still would have taken it out in 1 hit. But that idiot mistake gave him the opportunity to get off that Stone Edge, which finished off my Venusaur, which gave Kamen the win there. My idiocy lost me that, but a win's a win. He beat me. Now here with this double battle, I start with the pair I built this team around. And he starts with Heracross and Skeledirge. Gets off that pin missile. Not doing super effective damage. I don't think anyway. Do I have my typings right? Yes. Yeah. Neutral damage because of the fire, but that's still some good damage. The berry I have on Victory Bell lets it survive that Torch Song really well, despite it being super effective. And I know I've got to get this Skeledirge under control. Fire type against a grass team is not good. So my Scovillain, I think is what it's called, whatever, named Carolina Reaper.
Gone! It's a one-hit wonder!
Good North Carolina boy here. He sets up the Sunlight. He's holding a Heat Rock. So there for 8 turns. That gives Victory Bell good speed boost on the next turn. And I managed to get off the Sleep Powder to put the Skeledirge to sleep. That'll help me control that a little bit. Now he sends everybody's favorite human trafficker, Andrew Tate, out. And I start hammering with Solar Beam from Carolina Reaper here. And I'm like, I know it's going to be half damage, but I need to take out that Skeledirge. And I needed to make sure this Toxtricity couldn't use its poison typing to decimate my team either, so put that one to sleep. Now unfortunately for me, Skeledirge wakes up, uses Torch Song, it's already got a special attack boost, and it's got the Sunlight up, so Victory Bell never stood a chance against that, since it already used its berry. But because Toxtricity is asleep, and Skeledirge went after Victory Bell, my Scovillain's still on the field. And he manages to go first, get off another Solar Beam to take out that Skeledirge. Or so I thought, because I got a bad damage roll there.
Gone! It's a one-hit wonder!
Just a little health left, and managed to one-shot my Executor between its 2 special attack boosts and the Sunlight. So things are not looking great for me here. I sent in Decidueye. I didn't really have a particular strategy here. I was panicking. But I knew Scovillain outsped those 2, so I finish off the Skeledirge with a Disrespect Flamethrower. And now I'm hoping my Decidueye can outspeed Toxtricity. It cannot. And even more unfortunately, it wakes up and takes out my Scovillain, which had kind of been the star of the show to this point. However, that does mean that Decidueye is not hit. So I was hoping for a critical hit, didn't get it. I got him down to about little under 2/3 health. He sends out Yanmega, I send out Venusaur to take advantage of the little bit of sunlight that's left, outspeed, and the Solar Beam. This one I'm going to target at, not Yanmega, sorry, the Toxtricity, try to take it out. Again, survives on just a little bit of health. Now fortunately, Decidueye avoids that Air Slash, because that would have easily been a one-hit kill. It's 4 times effective. And here, I didn't mean to make a trade here, but I was totally fine with it.
Gone! It's a one-hit wonder!
He barely survives the poison jab. He gets poisoned, but survives the poison, manages to take out Yanmega with one Brave Bird, and then the recoil kills him. But you know what? I was fine making that trade. That Yanmega was a threat, as the last battle proved. So he sends out his Rhydon, I send out my Hisuian Lilligant. I have to get revenge on this Rhydon for that last game, that humiliation.
Gone! It's a one-hit wonder!
So I hit it with another Solar Beam, one-hit kill. Lilligant comes out with Leaf Blade, disrespect kill here. Andrew Tate was on so little health, he could not have survived. And I just finished it off with that disrespect Leaf Blade. Now, at this point, Common's he realizes that I'm turning this around. So he sends out his Palkia. You know, water is not a great matchup here, but the dragon typing will give him some protection. So I Terra my Venusaur just like last time, doing the same thing. Double down on the damage with the Grass Terra. Hoping to maximize the damage that Solar Beam is going to do. Because since the sunlight's still up, it's still a one-turn move. So I fire off a Solar Beam at Palkia, which is his last Pokemon, and I'm just crossing my fingers it's going to die. It doesn't. The Dragon typing, the fact that it's a legendary, it manages to live, but the Axe Kick from Hisuian Lilligant finishes it off, ending the second battle with a victory for me. I think redeeming myself from my somewhat humiliating defeat in the first battle. So these next two are against random folks online. And this one right here, this single battle, is genuinely the most humiliating defeat I have ever faced. Part of it feels a little bit like BS because the mythicals are what made this possible, but he had a good strategy and I figured out what he was doing and let him execute it because I got cocky. So he sends out Mew. I start hammering Mew with the Power Whip or Power Vine, whatever the hell that move's called. And Mew's setting up here. It uses Stealth Rock. It uses Spike. I managed to take out the Mew here, and I'm like, okay, well, it's some damage, but whatever. You know, I can handle that. We can get around that. Except then he sends out a shiny Mew. Now, I tend to assume shiny Mews are hacked, but I do have a legit one, so it's possible. Then this shiny Mew uses Toxic Spikes. So I think, okay, do the same thing again. Power Whip again. And the Mew avoids it. Mew then uses Toxic Spikes again. For those not aware, 2 layers of Toxic Spikes will have you badly poisoned instead of regular poison, which means a greater amount of poison damage gets done every turn. So my second Power Whip manages to hit, except he's got a red card that forces my Victory Bell out and pulls out a random Pokemon. In this case, my Scovillain. Because it's dragged out, it gets hurt by the stones, it gets hurt by the spikes, and it gets double poisoned by those 2 layers of poison spikes. So, I'm in a real bad situation here. Right off the bat, he's almost down to half health. Now, I don't know what he was doing with Encore here. There hadn't been an attack used, so I don't know why he used that, but it gave me a free turn to set up the sun. It's not going to do Scovillain any good for speed, but it will let him use Solar Beam in one turn, which, same type attack bonus on an already powerful move. That's going to do some heavy damage, and since this Mew is already just below half health, that Solar Beam manages to take it out. So I'm thinking, okay, I've got my footing back, I've got the sunlight up, I can manage this, you know, I can do this. Then he sends out, or she, excuse me, a inappropriately named Cloyster, although Anybody who says they haven't thought about naming one something to that effect is lying. And it uses Protect. Kind of what I expected. Let the poison do its work. But that Protect keeps me from managing to take it out with one hit with my Solar Beam. They then do take some poison damage. And next turn, I get that Sunlight, I fire off the Solar Beam. Unfortunately for me, what should have been a one-hit kill, what would have been a one-hit kill, he survives thanks to the Focus Sash, and then uses Shell Smash, which lowers defense and special defense by 1 stage, raises attack, special attack, and speed by 2 stages. So, if you can get it off, it's a really good move, and this is where the humiliation begins. The poison finishes off my Scovillain, and thanks to that Shell Smash, even in the sunlight, nothing on my team can outspeed this. I send Victory Bell back in, knowing that the poison's going to go away. Unfortunately,
Gone! It's a one-hit wonder!
It's got Ice Shard, Ice Spike, Ice whatever that was. Same type attack bonus and super effective. Outspeeds my Victory Bell, takes it out with 1 hit. Didn't even need the spikes. Does the same thing to Venusaur.
Gone! It's a one-hit wonder!
So I'm really on the ropes here. I have pretty much accepted my defeat by this point. I keep hoping somebody will be able to tank it or outspeed. Is not going to happen. Decidueye gets sent out to slaughter.
Gone! It's a one-hit wonder!
Now, had I gotten lucky and only 2 of those hit, he would have been able to tank and take out this Cloyster. But of course, I was not lucky. It hit 3 times, which is what it needed. Now, this Executor, it's got some bulk. I don't know if it could have survived that attack if it weren't for the spikes and stones. I'm skeptical, but it's somewhat bulky, and as you'll see in a minute, it has a berry that halves the damage of ice moves, negating its 4 times damage and making it a regular 2 times damage.
Gone! It's a one-hit wonder!
So with the spikes and the stones, that was a 3-hit kill. He got 3 hits. Might have been a 4-hit kill had those not been there. And it might have gotten 4 hits. That move can get up to 5, but, you know, who knows. With the stones and the spikes, I was never going to win. Lilligant, I believe, was my last Pokemon. And, yeah, and I know this Icicle Spear is going to take it out, so I kind of resign.
Gone! It's a one-hit wonder!
I don't literally resign, because Mama didn't raise no bitch, I'm not giving up, but I resign myself to defeat. I have never been swept before, but that Cloyster swept my entire team. It may have gotten some setup help from Mew, but it got all the kills. Now this last battle here, this is a double battle, a random one online. This one irritates me. And, you know, I've complained before about people using all legendaries, or most legendaries, but it bugs me to say, okay, great, 2 legendaries right at the start. And one of them's got Poison Jab. Fortunately, I've got some decent bulk on my Scovillain. I would have swapped targets, personally, but whatever. Set up the Sunlight.
Gone! It's a one-hit wonder!
That gives Victory Bell a speed boost. Won't do any good this turn, but because that was the Water-type Urshifu, that's Power Whip takes it out in 1 hit. Now Rillaboom comes out and sets up the Grassy Surge.
Gone! It's a one-hit wonder!
That's going to help my grass moves, actually. And I take out that Rillaboom with 1 Flamethrower anyway, thanks to the same type attack bonus, its weakness, and the sun. Now, Terapagos I find to be a very frustrating Pokemon. It's a really cool Pokemon, but it's frustrating because I don't get its ability and the Stellar Terra type. Like, I know in theory how it works. I haven't really wrapped my head around it, if you get what I mean. So it's just sort of an obnoxious one for me. So I send out my Decidueye. This happens to be really lucky for me. Incineroar may be fire, but it's also dark. Decidueye may be grass, but it's also fighting. Now, unfortunately, my attempt to put this fire type to sleep does not work. Fortunately, Decidueye is faster.
Gone! It's a one-hit wonder!
Its fighting type Triple Arrows managed to one-shot this Incineroar. And Victory Bell managed to survive, albeit very barely, that second Power Gem from Terapagos. So they send in Fluttermane. Honest to God, this is one of my favorite Paradox Pokemon because I love Miss Drevis and Miss Magius. Unfortunately, my Sunlight is helping it with that photosynthesis. But I decided that I'm going to Terra here, try to double down on the grass weakness or grass typing for damage, and try to take away the same type bonus. I am blanking on the term. Fairy. The same type bonus fairy damage that you just saw used by Fluttermane. Because I Terra'd, my Decidueye manages to tank that. And fortunately survived that Power Gem.
Gone! It's a one-hit wonder!
I don't think that crit was necessary, but it was the icing on the cake. Managed to OHKO that Fluttermane. That's one more thing out of the way. So they send Ursaluna in, and it is my beloved Blood Moon form Ursaluna. Love this form. It is not a great matchup against grass. So now they're going to Terra, and of course he Terras the Terapagos because its whole thing is, oh look, Stellar's Terra type, which like I said, I still can't really wrap my head around. Not a fan of it, but I knew that was going to happen. Now, unfortunately, Sunlight fades here. The grass also fades, so that's going to take away my Venusaur's ability to one-turn that Solar Beam and take away that slight boost to grass moves. That third Power Gem takes out my Decidueye. Finally, he held in there. He was a trooper. And because the Sunlight faded, because I am too lazy to keep track of turns and too dumb to check, it has to spend this move gathering Sunlight. Fortunately, it's got enough bulk to survive that Blood Moon attack of Ursaluna. So, almost Lilligant takes out the Terapagos with that Axe Kick. Terapagos is again going with that Power Gem, and sadly takes out Venusaur before its slow bulk can get that Solar Beam off and one-hit the Ursaluna.
Gone! It's a one-hit wonder!
Because it's moon-based, it's got the fairy-type move Moonblast, and that manages to one-shot my Lilligant. So, I am down to just a Alolan Executor. And I already know this is not going to go well for me. Power Gem is strong, and that Moonblast is going to take advantage of the Dragon typing, and probably could have taken me out with one hit anyway. So again, I had resigned myself to defeat. I'm not as embarrassed about this one though. This was just, I was outmatched. You know, it's not humiliating like that first one. Anyway, hope you enjoyed, guys. Catch you next time.